We begin with breaking news here at 5 o'clock. The Supreme Court is preserving access to the key abortion drug mifepristone for now. Today, the justices granted emergency requests from the Biden administration and the drug's maker. They're appealing a lower court's ruling in Texas that would roll back FDA approval of the drug mifepristone. It's been approved since 2000 and used by more than 5 million people. Now to our top story here in Portland. The city and the police union have reached an agreement for police officers to wear body cameras. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. It's good to have you with us. I'm Laurel Porter. Portland was the largest city in the country without body cams for its police officers. Our reporter Evan Watson joins us now. And Evan, this still needs city council approval, but the two sides finally found a compromise for when officers can view their own footage, right?
Yeah, Laurel, finally is a good word for it. For the most serious cases, including when a police officer uses deadly force, that officer will have to give an initial interview or write a report before they can view their own body camera video. That policy changes at lower levels of use of force, but both the city and the union say they're comfortable with this compromise. After years of delays and disagreements, the City of Portland and the police union finally have a deal in place for police officers to wear body cameras. The agreement needs City Council approval, but Mayor Ted Wheeler says he expects it to pass.
I think it's a really common sense approach. I think most people will look at it and say, yeah, that makes sense. We should move forward. We've waited a long time for body-worn cameras, and I believe we will be implementing them in the next couple of months.
The city and police union were stuck on one big issue. Should police officers be able to watch body camera videos before writing reports or being interviewed by investigators?
Cameras aren't perfect.
Police union president Aaron Schmout says in the most serious cases, when an officer uses deadly force or force that causes serious injury, they'll have to give an interview or statement first.
By doing an interview where the interviewer and the interviewee both have not watched a video that might pollute their kind of perception of an incident, you do that interview and then you move and you go and watch the video and then complete the interview answering any questions that might not have been answered in the first piece of it.
Schmout says in more minor cases, officers can use their videos to help write their reports.
You said body cameras are not a panacea, but they are part of the solution. What is your expectation here?
So, I think now moving forward, the community will have a deeper breadth of understanding about what our police officers and what our community are experiencing every day.
The U.S. Department of Justice has given conditional approval for this body-worn camera pilot project. The Portland Police Bureau plans to give cameras to its focused intervention team and central precinct officers to start, with the goal of every officer using a camera by the end of the year. Wheeler says it's a big step up in accountability.
And so having a formal recorded record of what actually happened, I think protects everybody's interests. It protects the interests of the public and it protects the interests of the men and women in the Portland Police Bureau. So this, from my perspective, is a no-brainer. It's a slam dunk. It's a win-win.
Schmout says it's been unacceptable that Portland officers haven't had body cameras up until now, but this compromise shows progress.
My hope and my belief is that this will build both accountability and trust in a system that heard the concerns and landed on a place that we can all support.
Now, Portland City Council will review this agreement on Wednesday. The Police Bureau plans to use $3.2 million that's been budgeted for body cams for the pilot program this year. Laurel.
It's good to see that compromise. Thank you, Evan. A new study takes a look at how much tear gas Portland police used against people during the racial justice protests in the summer of 2020. It shows the concentration of tear gas was far above safe levels. The study was conducted by Forensic Architecture, a research firm based in London. They looked at public documents along with news reports and social media videos from one night in 2020, June 2nd. That night began with a peaceful protest that later escalated into fighting between some protesters and police started deploying tear gas. Forensic Architecture found the concentration of tear gas in the air was hundreds to thousands of times higher than the safe levels established by OSHA. Researchers with Kaiser Permanente in Portland say tear gas can have health effects that last for a long time.
Really what this study is showing us is kind of that range and what the exposure is, and ultimately showing that based on OSHA standards, the concentrations that were being deployed in this scenario well exceed what would be considered, a safe use.
Portland police say they are still dealing with pending litigation around the protests, and they are not commenting on the study. 6 months after completion of a parking site for people who are homeless, the project still isn't open. It was intended to give people living in their RVs a safe place to stay. So why the delay? Here's investigative reporter Kyle Iboshi. Kyle?
Well, the story came from a viewer who emailed me asking about the proposed Safe Park Village for RV. She said, the site appears to be ready to go, but nobody is using it. So we checked it out. And sure enough, 6 months after completion, it's still just sitting there, move-in ready. Hidden behind the slats of a chain-link fence sits an RV Safe Park Village for Portland's homeless. The spaces are paved and painted. It's ready to go. So when's it going to open? Good question. First, a little background. Construction was completed in November. The site, located near the Portland airport, will be the only safe rest village for those living in RVs. In February, the city and county announced the Salvation Army would operate the site, which brings us back to that original question. When's it going to open?
Well, we're really hoping that it'll open sometime in June. You know, this is probably the most complex program that we've engaged in quite some time, trying to anticipate all of the issues surrounding bringing in RV units that, generally speaking, are pretty dilapidated and in very poor condition.
The Salvation Army is still working with the city and county to hammer out a contract and budget. Additionally, they've got to figure out rules of conduct, intake policy, how to handle leaky fluids from RVs, electrical issues, and more.
The worst thing to happen is you can rush something, get it open, and then there are problems. There are challenges. Those things don't work. You have to close the program. You have to make big adjustments.
A recent count showed 20% of the unsheltered in Multnomah County live in their vehicles. RVs line Northeast 33rd Avenue, just 1 block from the Safe Rest Village.
It's like, when are you guys going to open?
Becky Van Zant, who lives in an RV, says moving into the Safe Park Village next door would give her stability and a greater sense of security.
That would be a really big relief, really, honestly, because every 2 weeks we have to move, and it's not the world's greatest having to up and move everything.
There's a similar safe parking zone in Vancouver, which has been highly successful. A city spokesperson said it took Vancouver less than 1 month to get things up and running.
Oh, I think they could be moving a lot faster.
For those living on the street, what was intended to be an urgent response feels like it's turned into a crawl, especially with a Safe Park Village just sitting there, ready to go. The city and county say this is one of many projects going on to address the homeless crisis. There's a lot on their plate. Plus, they add this is a project that is new to their system, a 24-hour large-scale RV safe park program. Again, the hope is to have it operational by June. That would be 8 months after completion.
I know you'll keep watching, Kyle. Thank you. Multnomah County Animal Services is changing its policies following a recent dog attack. Sherry Wakerhauser, the owner of Bakery Picks Patisserie, says an unleashed pit bull mauled her while she was running in southeast Portland. Authorities say the dog's owner is a homeless man named Jesse Miller. Following the attack, the dog was supposed to quarantine for 10 days at Miller's mom's home in Camas. However, they say Miller came back and took the dog while she was at work. So from now on, pets will not be eligible for home quarantine in certain cases. That depends on the severity of the bite, whether the pet was loose when the bite happened, if it was previously designated as dangerous, or if its rabies vaccination is not current. Today, Portland Public School students and others participated in a youth climate strike. They left class today and marched from the convention center to Pioneer Courthouse Square. They're protesting the expansion of a natural gas pipeline that runs from Canada through the Pacific Northwest and into California. They want the governor to make sure all future energy plans are environmentally friendly.